We are going to be creating a histogram, which is a way of displaying the frequency of data. To start off, I'm going to create a frequency table. So we're going to have an interval amount and the frequency, or how much or how many values fall within that interval. So I see that we have from 12 as the smallest value, we go up to 23 as the greatest value. So if I did intervals of 2, I would have 6 intervals. If I did intervals of 3, I could have 4 intervals. So I think I'll do that. 12, 13, and 14 to have my first interval. 15, 16, 17 to have the next 3 numbers of an interval. 18, 19, and 20 to be a third interval. And then 21, 22, 23 for my fourth interval. I have my intervals being the same amount, which is good. And now I'm going to go through and I'm going to count up how many of these ages people started their first job fall within these different intervals. The first one, I'm looking for 12, 13, or 14. I see a 12 and a 14, so that means we have a frequency of 2. From 15 to 17, I see a 16 and then 3 17s, so we have a frequency of 4. From 18 to 20, we have 18s, and that's all, so we have a frequency of 3. And then from 21 to 23, we have no 21s, but there's a 22 and a 23. So that's a frequency of 2. If I add up my frequencies, I get 11, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 values are what we have to work with. I have everything covered. So when I'm creating a histogram, I'm going to have the intervals along the horizontal axis. So I'll have 12 to 14, 15 to 17, 18 to 20, and 21 to 23. And now what are these intervals about? That's when I need to give it the official name of what are we talking about. And this is age at first job. Along the side, on the y-axis or the vertical axis, we're talking the frequency. So how much did that occur? We've got between 2 and 4, so I'm only going to count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what I need to do is I'm going to create bars of equal width for each of these intervals. The first interval from 12 to 14 has a frequency of 2. So there are 2 people who had their first job when they were between the ages of 12 and 14. There are 4 people who had their first job when they were between 15 and 17 years old. So this bar is going to go all the way up to 4. The bars are going to be touching. We have no overlap in the intervals, which is good. And we need to have equal widths. The third interval, from 18 to 20, there are 3 people who had their first job then. So at a frequency of 3, I'm creating a new bar. Again, equal width, touching the previous bar. Our final interval is between 21 and 23 years old. There are 2 people who got their first job then. And so this is a histogram that is presenting the data of our age at their first job in a form of a visual.